Classic Game Shrine, everyone. Today I'm going to go over my top 15 tips for video gamers to help keep your collection in good order. Okay guys, as you see, I have a ton of stuff in my game room, and I'm sure most of you are no different. What I do in order to keep the dust away is to make sure I keep the game doors closed on all of my consoles. I try to keep dust covers on all of my games, at least as many as I have dust covers to, or I will try to have them face down, like you can see behind me here, so that the pins aren't exposed to the elements or able to have dust in them. Ideally, having them sealed in a box would be the best, but let's be real, getting boxes for this stuff, even if you go repro, can get expensive. So another thing that I do is that I invest in the Swiffer style dusters. The 360 ones are better, but this was what was on sale, and this just happened to be what I grabbed. They'll work almost as good, but I highly recommend them. The little center part here works even better than a normal feather duster, and I tend to knock over a lot less stuff with this and cover more ground with it. So, with that said, invest in a Swiffer. Swiffer, you better sponsor me for this, especially considering how many I go through. Another thing that most people don't think about in regards to video game collecting is insurance for your collection. My collection isn't that large compared to many other people out there, but I have mine insured through my renter's insurance. However, you can take it out through homeowner's insurance or a specific video game insurance policy. It will cover against acts of nature like storms and things like that. And it will also cover if someone was to enter your home or wherever you're keeping your collection and steal some or all of it. So it's very good to make sure that you have that on your collection, because granted, most days out of the year you're not going to need it, but it's that one time that you're going to really kick yourself for not having your insurance. I've actually used it before for my 3DS. It got messed up. My renter's / game insurance covered it, and it was awesome. So it definitely pays for itself, I feel, especially the larger collection you have with the more rare items you have. It's so worth it. Get video game collection insurance. Use simple spreadsheets and video game inventory apps when possible. I personally like using a simple spreadsheet that is available on all my devices through the cloud, be it computer or mobile. It makes submitting my video game inventory to the insurance company a lot easier, and it has prevented me from buying doubles on so many occasions. And the best part about using spreadsheets, which I personally prefer over the game apps, is that you can make them in any style you want, customize them 100%, and it's easy to print out. For similar reasons to the spreadsheets, taking pictures and video of your collection serves a great purpose for inventory and for insurance as well. Also, it makes it convenient to show off your collection with people you meet who may not ever see it in real life. But remember, keep up-to-date pictures of your collection or else it'll be completely pointless. Hey guys, next tip. It's a little controversial for some, but honestly, the way that Nintendo's been handling the SNES Classic thing lately, gloves are off. And that tip is to invest in flashcards. If there's a cartridge-based system out there, chances are that there is a flash cart for it. Even lesser-known systems, such as, hold on, the Pokemon Mini. Yes, this little thing actually has a flash cart for it, and homebrew games, which brings me to one of my points. These flash carts can store an entire library of games as long as you have a large enough SD card to fit in it in one cartridge. And that includes every region, that includes hacks, that includes homebrew, and it's great because you get to play on the system that it was meant for without any emulation. Quick explanation of a flash cart. A real game, we'll call it a real game, has a ROM chip. And that ROM chip has a game, or depending on the cart, multiple games flashed to that chip. The SD card acts as that chip, and instead of having one game or a few games flashed to it, you can have as many as your SD card will allow. And that's essentially what a flash card is. So there's no emulation, no lag, and they're great for that. Another thing they're great for is to not wear down the pin connectors of your cartridge-based system and to and to wear down the pins of your cartridges. Now, what I mean by that is once you have a flash card and you insert it into your cartridge-based system, you're not really going to need to remove it. The only thing you're going to have to remove really is the SD card, and you don't need to remove the cartridge entirely to remove the SD card. And once you remove the SD card, you can add, remove, or do whatever you want with it, with games, and you can even add emulators to some of them, which is really nice for some people. However, since I have most of the consoles, I don't really have a need for emulation, unless I'm capturing footage, but that's a whole other video. Another thing, a lot of people have large collections of video games, but not enough room to store them, and it's a pain in the ass to have to pull out your storage tubs, finger through whatever games they are to find whatever you want to play. This, you can leave those games in the tub, leave them on the shelves where you want to display them, and just get through a convenient menu with all of your video games instead. So yeah, those are my reasons for supporting flashcards. You can use it for more nefarious reasons, and I'm neither for nor against what you do with your flashcard. You can load up rare games you would never be able to afford, or rare games that had limited production that somebody dumped a ROM to. Personally, I love using them for homebrews and hacks. My next tip for gamers and collectors alike is to invest in an AV switch. An AV switch is going to allow you to connect multiple systems to one TV and to be able to choose which one you're playing at the flick of a switch. They range in price anywhere from $10 on up. The one I have is fairly cheap, and the one I'm upgrading to, while a trillion times better than this one, is still actually fairly cheap according to the price on Amazon, which is about $22. They can hold multiple systems, and they usually look something like this, where you have numbers or outlets labeled with numbers that you connect a console to with its AV switches or AV cables, and whatever number you're on corresponds to whatever console's plugged in. So I wanted to have it set to whatever console's number 1, set it to number 1, number 2, and so on. It's pretty simple. And I know anyone coming over is going to be confused by that nonsense. So if you have people coming over, or if you want just a handy guide for yourself, best thing to do is get a little notebook and map everything out. This is what I've done for people that come over, and this makes it easy for them to figure out what switch goes to what console, and what TV source goes to what console as well. This next tip you may have seen in a video of mine already. However, I feel it's worth mentioning here in case no one else has seen that video. And that is, use bread clips to help organize your wires. And what I mean by that is, see here, when I go and need to plug something in or unplug something, I want to know what console it is so I'm not plugging or unplugging the wrong thing by mistake. Basically what you do is you take bread clips, take some nail polish remover and a Q-tip, you swab the ink that is on the bread clip off and replace it with whatever label you need. They're really easy. Most people just throw them out, and it's a great way to recycle something, honestly. I have them on just about every wire in my house, including the ones for my PC, the ones that go downstairs to my modern gaming systems and my TV, and as you can see, the ones up here with my retro stuff. To get in the habit of making your wires to your controllers neatly wound, that way you don't put unnecessary stress on them. I can give you a good example with my my original Xbox controller, for instance. I was young, I didn't really give a shit about the system, and I wound the controller poorly, so now as a result you get frays like this that are held together with electrical tape. In order to avoid this, you can do several things. You can use toilet paper or paper towel tubes and stick the wires in there, or you can invest in these Velcro strips that I have and just wind them up like this. It keeps things nice and neat, it keeps them from getting unwound and tangled, and it also does not put stress towards the base of the controller wire. Okay guys, next tip is pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, and that is just to invest in a good surge protector. You never know when you're going to go through a bad thunderstorm and you're not home while everything is plugged in or on, and this just gives you a tiny bit more protection. They come in all different styles, all different price ranges, all different sizes. This is mine right here. It's nothing special. It also has ports for USB in here. However, I do want to upgrade to a larger one that'll fit all of my plugs. My next tip to gamers and collectors is to keep a very good CRT television on hand. While I know most games will look better with an HDMI conversion or, you know, a LCD screen and a flat screen, and I understand that CRTs are bulky and heavy and just a pain in the butt to deal with. However, they offer you access to the light gun games. Modern televisions, the way they're made, won't let light guns work. So you need a cathode ray tube television in order for that to happen. At least for the classic light gun games. I believe the Wii and slightly more recent consoles will work on a more modern television. However, all the good ones can only be played on beauties like this. Another thing video gamers should keep in mind for storage is to utilize your space well. And some ways that I do that is by using these cubes that help me store things pretty efficiently under tables or in shelves similar to ones that I use for my handhelds. Another good way of utilizing your space is to invest in drawers like these. Labeling also makes things much easier. As you can see here, this is where I keep my controllers. And here is all NES through N64 controllers. Here is GameCube through 360 controllers. And this last one's just chargers and shit. I mean, quite literally is what it says. Otherwise, another good way to make the most of your space is to use wall space. Vertical space will help keep everything pretty neat while not sacrificing a lot of the room in the middle of your floor. Another important tip for video gamers and collectors is to make sure that you have a basic knowledge of maintenance and repairs for your video games and video game consoles. It'll save you so much money down the line, whether you're having to fix something yourself that you broke, or whether you're purchasing something that's not working just to save a few extra bucks. It's always good to make sure that you have a well-stacked toolbox. This is mine, and it's a bit crazy inside. I know a bit of soldering and slightly more advanced modding. However, I'm not expecting everybody to know as much as me or more. Basically inside, you're going to want your screwdrivers, you're going to want some files, and you're going to want different screwdriver bits. I have this one here that you can attach different bits inside. I have security bits, tri-wing screwdrivers to get inside of various consoles. I have extra wires and electronic components to mod. I have wire cutters. This is my Dremel. This is my soldering iron. This is part of my soldering iron station. Back there is my soldering or desoldering iron. And right here is one of my favorite bits. This is a screwdriver with a bunch of different bits on it. So you can just about access anything with this. And if you close this, it shows you what is available in the kit. While we're on the topic of maintaining our consoles, this is a product I recommend everybody keep in their homes, not just for home cleaning and applications, but for video game applications as well. This is great at removing battery corrosion and rust. Well, I mean, it says rust right here, but I mean, all you need, honestly, for most video game applications is a Q-tip dabbed in a little bit of the solution, and it just completely dissolves all of the nasty stuff without needing to scrub or even wait. I've completely revived my Game Boy with this stuff, and it's amazing. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure you can also get this in Europe, but I've only ever seen it on Amazon, and I'm pretty sure it goes by a different name. So, keep that in mind for my overseas viewers. Another tip to remember is if you purchase used consoles, whether they're at yard sales, flea markets, retail game stores, or even pawn shops, be sure to open them up before you bring them in your home. You'd be surprised at how often than not you're going to find literal bugs, unfortunately in most cases roaches, living inside these consoles. Consoles make great homes for bugs like spiders, roaches, beetles, and other nasty insects because of their warm CPUs while they're running and their dark internals, which make great homes for them. To avoid them also making a home in your car on your way back from wherever you bought the console from, be sure to put them in a garbage bag and seal it or tie it shut. Hey guys, I'm about to mention one of what I feel is the most important tip for video game collectors, video game enthusiasts, gamers, whatever you want to call yourself. And this is, don't get caught up in the drama. There's a lot of competition between people to have the largest collection or the most complete collection or the most in-box collection or the most of the Zelda games. Listen, it's not worth it. A true collector and a true gamer doesn't care, and my cat feels the same way. It's all about enjoying yourself. Just do you. If you want to only collect Zelda games, collect Zelda games. You need to enjoy yourself. No one else is buying the games for you. No one else is paying your bills. So forget what they have to say. They are just people out there on a little speck in the universe. It doesn't matter. Enjoy yourself. Pick up a controller. Pick up a mouse or keyboard, whatever your choice of video game is, and just enjoy yourself. Don't deal with the drama. It's not worth it. Okay guys, that's all I got this time. If you can think of any other tips that I haven't mentioned, post them in the comments below. Make a video response. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my new Patreon, links in the description below. And until next time guys, take care.